to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
See, in your battery, medical solutions problem. Spiritual solution.
Despite the striking fact that most of the scientists that the world has ever known are alive and working today, the vast stretches of the unknown and the unanswered and the unfinished still far outstrip our collective comprehension.
Mo bẹ sẹpẹ tí rí jújú rí sí. Ìgbẹ́gbẹ́ mi tí jújú rí. Ajá máa wo fíìmù. Ìgbà jújú ní fíìmù gbé à. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ní oògùn ní kíní kan.
Wonder. For as long as we've looked up at the night sky, that is what we felt.
We named the planets that hung among the stars after our gods and gave them the same power to control our fate.
We will no longer stare in wonder at those planets we name for our gods, but take our place among them.
It's just become a giant obstacle, an instrument of oppression. I've seen places where religion actually destroys the mind. I mean, everybody has seen it, though they may not put it down to religion. They might put it down to social alienation, psychological warp, but then how did the human psychology get warped in the first place? And I've watched brilliant people who've been just captured by religion and given up the potential of themselves as individuals, including their potential contribution to society, saying, they've been so brainwashed, so indoctrinated, that they feel that even human, I'm looking at extremes now, that even achievement, they feel it's a sin.
10 years ago, Andy Sandness attempted suicide, shooting himself in the face. Rushed to hospital, he miraculously survived but was left with life-changing injuries, without a nose, chin, or most of the flesh below his eyes. A team of specialists led by Dr. Samir Mardini had been practicing the face transplant technique for 3 years, rehearsing the full operation more than 30 times.
It has been destined that that is the way she will go. You can't change what is ordained by God. You cannot change it. One way or the other. If she be dead by road accident or any other means, she will. Let's just say premature death.
It involved mapping and preserving an intricate web of nerves on both Andy and the donor's face. The high-risk surgery lasted a full 56 hours, with surgeons taking shifts.
And now with this transplant, I just feel more comfortable, more confident in doing these things.
The earth, this year, unless we pray very hard, is going to behave like a child that is having convulsion. Earthquakes in many places that it had never happened before. And that's one of the reasons you should pray for Nigeria.
Also, take a look at cancer research. We're going to have a magic bullet against cancer using nanomedicine. That is, individual molecules and cells that can target individual cancer cells using nanotechnology. And the next big thing is when your toilet becomes intelligent. In the future, your toilet will be your first line of defense against cancer, because your bodily fluids, blood and your bodily fluids, contain signatures of cancer colonies of maybe a few hundred cancer cells in your body, maybe years before a tumor forms. Think about it for a moment. There are people watching this program right now, who have cancer growing in their body, maybe a few hundred cancer cells in a colony, but they won't know it for perhaps 10 years when you have 10 billion cancer cells growing in your body forming a tumor. we will have what is called liquid biopsies, DNA chips, that allow us to search for the signatures of cancer colonies of 100 cells, cancer genes, cancer enzymes, cancer proteins circulating in our blood and bodily fluids. So in other words, one day your toilet will tell you that you have cancer.
See, in your body, medical solutions is problem.
Spiritual solution.
I wasn't questioning it. In fact, I thought it was that Christianity was a very good and very valuable thing for us. But after a while, I began to feel that the story I was told about this religion wasn't perhaps completely whole, that something was left out.
That's a lot to talk about, don't you think? This is not my normal video. The aim of that mix wasn't to pity or laugh at the state Nigeria is in, or to gleefully laugh at it, but to show the contrast between ideals that actually make a great nations and the one that doesn't. Just take a look at the prophecies. Someone is predicting that some horrible event will happen that is beyond our control and isn't even trying to take hold of it. And someone else is predicting the future, trying to make the future better for the generations to come, that even Adeboye and his descendants will actually participate in. And our descendants and those we know in Nigeria will actually suffer the consequences of Adeboye's ideas. Those are vague prophecies anyway. According to the ESGS, there are more than 20,000 earthquakes per year. Adeboye predicting that an earthquake will actually happen somewhere around the world or sometimes around the world is just as valued as me predicting it, you know. I can predict it as good as Adeboye can actually predict it, because if we wait long enough, something that is actually normal as an earthquake will actually happen if we wait long enough. Just think about it for a second. If you predict that, if I actually prophesy right now that some disease will actually break out in Lagos State, 10 years from now, my prophecy will still be as valid, because if we wait long enough, you know, anything said to happen will actually happen.
And they said this will happen this year. Oh, years back, you used to be plane crash, I remember. There will be plane crash this year. And plane will crash. And you will, oh, he's a man of God, he prophesied about plane crash. I don't blame you, because your person or you are not among those who crashed. What kind of user prophecy is that? So you have the power to see plane crash, but God will not tell you which particular airline, which day it will crash, so that at least me who is hearing you, I will avoid going to airport.
I was told to laugh more in my videos. After we made the series of street interview to actually get numbers of people and to get how they actually arrived at their beliefs, with your donations, guys, thank you guys. We cracked down on a pastor like Operation Fox Hunt, a cracked apostolic church pastor who is infamously and notoriously known for chaining victims of a mental illness down in his church and actually curing them of their illness. He is said to be the cure, the alpha and omega, and the specialist of mental illness. First, the first reply we actually got was that the miracles of God was to be kept secret and no one should ask questions about it. We went back and forth for about 15 minutes of recording, you know, of argument, asking the secretary to actually let us speak with the pastor. And the pastor and the secretary actually denied it all, that the miracles of God isn't to be said to the world, isn't to be shown to the world. And I was like, is this the way hospitals actually had paracetamol, which is the cure for headache or any drug which is the cure for headache? Do they hide it, you know? But the church has decided to actually light their own candle and hide it under a bushel, you know. And actually, finally, after we got the opportunity to actually speak to the pastor denied it all. Just imagine the pastor actually said that no one has ever been to his church with mental illness. No one has ever been to his church. And the pastor was actually counting on something. He said anyone who has ever been there should bring his family member that was actually ill. I think if you actually speak Yoruba, you will actually understand what the pastor actually said. what the pastor was counting on is that no one will actually come out, Like, he said anyone who has been there should actually bring his family member that has been there. If you actually understand Yoruba, what actually was saying is that if the shame is actually enough, the stigma is actually enough. And he was right, no one would actually come out and no one would actually testify. But we actually got a witness to actually speak up, And the victim actually said no. Just listen to what the witness said.
Like, I can tell you that he's lying. Like, I've been here before, right? And I can tell you that he's lying. I've seen people chained. When they see you behaving out of line, they just carry the chains, pick up the chains and put it on your legs. You are no more free. Like, you are not permitted to do anything they tell you not to do.
Now after that, listen to what the victim said. The victim actually said that we should forgive the pastor. The guardian of the victim actually said we should forgive the pastor. Listen to this.
Mọ́mí náà máa sọ fún mi pé máa ń sọ. I don't believe in problem, no solution.
What is the solution? Ẹ máa ń wà tí ọ̀dà lóòótọ́ wọn ní àgbọ̀pọ̀ ẹ̀sìn náà ẹ̀sìn ọ̀dà méjì àgbọ̀ ojú ẹ̀sìn tí wọ́n bá tún wá rìpọ́ọ̀tì pé ojú ẹ̀sìn ṣẹlẹ̀ ìyẹn gan ni ìjọba tẹ̀ wá ìyẹn wọn hate tì mí. Wọ́n sọ pé lágbájá ń ṣe ìjọba nígbà mìíràn wọ́n máa ń lọ sí ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì pé wọ́n lè ṣe ìjọba tí wọ́n bá sì wọ́n ọ̀nà bọ́yá tí wọ́n bá parí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn wọ́n lè tó sí ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì yẹn wọ́n lè tó sí ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì yẹn kí tó tún mọ̀ bá ṣe lọ tí wọ́n bá tún bá wọn nínú ìwà àbàjẹ́ yẹn wọ̀ fún wàhálà sí.
Ó yé mi. Ẹ̀kẹ́tẹ́ ìṣẹ́wó ká wọ̀nù wọn ní kéde wípé.
Just imagine that, If someone was raped, I'm very sure we could have convinced the person to actually come and speak up. If the person was raped. But mental illness is far more stigmatized than rape in this country. Like rape in this country. And I can think of no one else to actually thank for that than Nollywood, If you actually watch this interview we actually did, those people's lives are just like exactly like in Hollywood scripts. Like they are like a zombie with no thought of their own. Like they've never seen anything on their own. They actually have no evidence, and those who actually have evidence actually have questionable evidence. And I'm very sure that we could actually get a confession in a day or two. I'm very sure that we can actually get a confession. We can secure a conviction, a granted conviction in a week or two. But I don't actually have the money to actually hire a lawyer right now. And before I could do everything I actually didn't do and actually get my family my parents to actually accept me and everything I was doing, I made an agreement with my parents that no matter what I do, I must not touch any pastor they actually know. And I've broken that promise already. I touched the pastor. They actually know the pastor. In fact, they actually know the victim. We're not related, but we actually know the victim of the incident. And I am trying to avoid something. So the words that will actually be said to each other. If I actually return from the police station saying your pastor is actually in jail, and I'm trying to actually wait till I can actually move out of the house. Move out of this house, so I will actually be able to avoid that. Put some 2-3 months in between my visit to the pastor and the conviction before I actually visit. But I'm very sure with what we have, and I have posted that, with what we have, it is actually enough to actually get the pastor to jail. But we don't have the money for hiring a lawyer right now. My commitment this year is to create a big opposing force to the cataclysmic effects of Nollywood's ignorance. The problem they are creating in our society, and the damage that is so big, that people can actually break out of. Right now, I'm very sure our visit to the pastor actually stopped him from doing it. I'm very sure about that. Because to stop him from continuing what he actually did. But I want to actually punish the man. I'll be going from market to market with a megaphone, not like the evangelism, but just like announcement for people to actually, like, I realize that markets are big hubs for rumors and gist, just start a discussion in the market, and it travels all over the country. I will be staying in Oyo State for about 3 months or so, January, February, and March. This February, March. Then I'll move to Ijebu, Ijebu, then to Edo State, because those are where people actually believe that it is juju and voodoo is actually is the most prominent. I'll be making promotions on Facebook and IG, like pushing it to the bare minimum, and I've linked a description of every street interview episode we actually did, and seeing that people's belief is actually a Nollywood script. I want to be honest with you guys, I want to be honest with people. The amount that we actually get this show on the road, like, get it big, get the whole country talking about it, and they're giving me the ability to actually invite people and getting on the radio also, is actually 1 million naira. I'm very sure if I actually add 1 million naira, about 800,000 naira, I will put that on the screen also. 800,000 naira is going to the gears, and you actually see that's in the gears. I can actually order those things right now. But what I actually figured is that we can actually, if with 500k, we can actually start the juju house to house, and the practicality of it. Those who claim that they can heal a severed limb, they can bring the dead to life and all of those things, I have numbers, and if you actually watch the interviews, I collected those people's numbers, those who actually believe that they can do it, and those who actually say they do it, I have all their numbers. So please, if you are seeing this, I will be writing, I hope Wale Gate actually sees this, I will be writing an open letter to Wale Gate, and I don't know who I will be writing it from there after that, but I will be writing that to him. Like, I'm recording this today, and I will be writing it to him today. And please assist us, Wale Gate, assist us in actually combating the greatest monster that we've ever faced in this country. I attached the things Wole Soyinka and Chinua Achebe and some prominent other people actually said about religion in the intro of the video, and I want to actually, I'm very sure you're actually aware of damage it is doing and it has done. Please, if you are seeing this, and check the full video on YouTube. If you are seeing this, please follow, just watch the video and please support. Please simply support. And if the open letter wasn't directed to you, please, as much as you can, as little as you can, please support the push. 1 million naira. It is a lot, but I will be putting everything on the gears on the screen. It's 1 million naira. Getting a radio episode. Once we actually have one, I'm very sure with a big impression, we'll be invited in for free for the rest of it, and the megaphone to every from Mushin in Lagos and other markets like Gbagi, one of the biggest markets in West Africa, Gbagi, Ogunpa, and those markets. If we start something there, it will be big. It will actually go far and wide all over the state. So the focus is Oyo State. So thanks for your support, guys. I'm really grateful. You make my life possible. I'm the kind of person that is hell bent on something and wouldn't quit and will not quit until I actually get it done. I can say, I can say obsession is what the non-committed actually use for the committed when they are really committed to their goals. And I can tell you I'm obsessed with this. Give me the money, I will bring the results. Just like that. I really believe that we can change this nation. So please support. Thank you so much. Thank you.